Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, Terril Calder. What did you want to accomplish with your short film, Meneath, the Hidden Island of Ethics?
It's always my goal when I'm making a film is to create dialogue, and not necessarily solve any problems in one film. I think I like films that make me reflect, question, and think about something differently. So I'm hoping to add some new questions in the world with my film. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish.
All right. And of course, everyone's going to have their own subjective experiences watching anything. That's the case with every, short or film or TV show, I guess. But what do you hope the viewing experience is like for people?
Well, with a lot of the pre-screeners or people that are watching the film, I'm finding their experiences with this compared to other films that I've made in the past are very unique, and they bring a lot of themselves to it. It deals with ethics and Christian ethics. So I find it like a lot of Christians. I'm not a Christian and I'm fascinated by the religion, but a lot of Christians bring to it their own relationship with Christianity. It deals with abuse. A lot of people bring to it their own abuse or identity or how they navigate the world. And so I wouldn't really limit anyone's experience. I don't really want to spoon feed them how to react to the film. I'm finding it really fascinating to see how they do.
Okay, cool. Well, that's interesting. And yeah, I would, because I was, I'm like an atheist. I would say I'm an atheist, but I was raised Catholic. So I can see like how, but to me, it just seemed like Jesus within a community, not like this objective Jesus, even though it's like a character. I sort of reacted to it like that. That's more or less how I reacted to it. I didn't I can see how people might have a problem with it, but I personally didn't.
It's funny. Nobody's had a problem with Jesus. They just find they're bringing to it. They're saying, oh, their own baggage with it. So they'll say, oh, he like somebody was like, he's very strict or very difficult. And I was very careful to animate him with a lot of love and care. He loves and cares the character so much. He's the only person that really, he washes her, he tucks her in. He has a tough love approach, but it always comes from a place of love. I never tried to demonize him. And I find that the Christians thus far tend to bring that to the film in some weird way for some reason. I don't know why.
One thing I have an issue with the doctrine of Christianity is like the missionaries and sort of the imposition to an extent on other cultures. Like a Christian can't really rest. The mission isn't done until everyone's a Christian. That's you can't really get around that. Yeah,
I those themes are in the film, and I find missionary thinking, even though it doesn't necessarily have to come from a place of religion, like the idea that there's going to be one savior that has all, like it's just going to lead the way, and we're going to know the truth from this person. It's that hierarchical thinking. So I'm trying to introduce different ways of thinking and seeing the world, that the world doesn't have to exist on that hierarchy, that we're stronger together. That there's not just one solution, and salvation takes many forms.
Definitely. How do you describe your visual style in the short?
My visual style's all over the place. I love experimenting with medium, and so I used a wide array of things to animate. I created a doll, I sculpted her and cast her out of silicone rubber. And then the two characters are characters from a coloring book. So they're represented in white flat paper. And I repurposed a teddy bear. I love mixing mediums together and really challenging myself.
Yeah, it's definitely some fun, chaotic. I mean like chaos in a good way. There's just like it's like a big splash. A lot's going on visually.
There is. I call it a roller coaster ride. It's like you're strapped in, and it's moving forward the whole time.
Tell me about your voice actors. Where did you find them? What was it like working with them? And what do they bring to the short?
It was amazing. In animation, you always record the voice performances before you animate. That's how you do lip sync and get timing and things like that.
Hmm.
The amazing Gail Maurice was Nokomis, and she is, and it was in one interview, somebody was saying, well, all of her roles are kind of dark and kind of menacing.
Hmm.
And I know Gail personally, and I just find her a person with so much love and light, and she was so beautiful in this role. Even I had to listen to her voice for the last 2 years as I was animating it, and I sort of just melt into her performance. I appreciate her effort so much. Ken McQuaid voiced Jesus. He's also, I'm going to go back. All of these actors, I keep posting this picture over and over again. They sort of influenced how I animated them and the performances that I actually did, because they sort of embodied the characters. And Lake Delise, she was a baby girl, and she was amazing. She practiced so much that her voice was a little bit raw because she was trying to practice being a baby. And when she came and did it, I was like, let's just try your regular voice. And she was perfect. All of these, I can tell you as an animator, you start getting annoyed by the performances at one point because you have to play them over and over and over again. And what these three brought to this piece, beyond their voices, just their spirit, it dictated so much, and I will be forever grateful to the three of them.
Very nice. Was there particular moments in your life that made you want to get into filmmaking? Do you know how you came across the desire?
Well, ironically, when I was in university, I took film, but I never thought I was ever going to be a filmmaker. Somebody said, well, you could just sit there and watch movies. And, so I took, thought that's fantastic. I also was in fine arts. So I was going to be an artist, just a visual artist. And at one point, I don't even remember how. Oh, yes, I do remember how. I thought I was going to be a grown up and not be an artist anymore and get a job. So I took a course on 3D animation. And then I realized I hated 3D animation, but I liked animation, but I wanted to get back to actually making things and moving them about. And I made my first film, I think in 2008, called Can Meet. And I was hooked. It was an amazing thing to have your whole art experience just in one link. At that time, it was one DVD, and you could send it off. Because in my art experience, I made like a 25-foot inflatable doll, and you have to store that stuff. And find spaces to keep all of your art, because I was making very large art, and I was hooked. It can get out, your art can get out to more audience, more viewers, more people that connect with it.
What do you draw on for inspiration, both cinematically and from life in general?
I always use whatever I'm obsessed with. I think that's always a good advice for any artist, because you're going to have to be working on this for a while, and I really feel like somebody can feel your intent, like can tell if you're like trying to sell a hot topic, but you're not really passionately connected to it. So I always talk about things that fascinate me, that I want to learn more about. I can really dive deep into it. I like using different material and medium, challenging myself with technique, using old school technique, using brand new technology. I always like the risk involved in experimenting.
Okay. Are you happy to be included in the Ottawa International Animation Film Festival?
Well, when I was that 3D animator, I went to the festival a few times, and it blew my mind. Actually, that's was part of the reason even I was compelled to do stop mo. I met a few stop mo animators and went to some workshops, and I had just found my people. It was like, we're going to play with dolls for the rest of our life. This is going to be amazing. And the animation festival runs from the 22nd to the 30th, and there's going to be a special presentation of Meneath at the gallery, I heard, I believe. And I'm amazing to be a part of a great community of animators, and honored to be there.
Very nice. So you said you worked on this short for 2 years?
It was 3 in total.
3 in total.
Yeah.
How many hours do you think you put in?
A gazillion. I'm still
Gazillion.
working on it actually, because I'm working on the AR version. I just wrapped up another film, and my producer's like, we have to do. Yes, so probably it will be another few months. Still working on the same project. I apparently, because I'm self-taught and I've worked alone for a number of years. But my producers worked with other animators. I make 20 seconds. I can do 20 seconds of animation a day, which she says is really fast. And I should stop saying that. I should say three seconds a day. So we're between 3 seconds and 20 seconds a day, which means you have to really love it or you'll go crazy.
Well, good to know. So what would you ultimately like to see come out of the Truth and Reconciliation process?
Wow.
I know,
there's so
shifting gears pretty hard.
I just came out of left field.
Yeah.
There's so many brilliant colleagues I have that speak to this so much more profoundly than I can. But I think my 2 cents, a Métis from Fort Francis, Ontario's 2 cents, is that I think that we need to kind of sit in the uncomfortability of the truth for a while. I think there's a lot of people that want, because being woke to so much pain and devastation, I think is going to take a long time for Canada to process. We've been processing it for a while, and I think that to sit in pain, to sit and digest it is where we should be right now. It's horrible. It's horrific. And we'll get to, after it's been processed, a better place. But to quickly get to the solution and get out of the pain, it's going to take some time.
It's not a Band-Aid you can rip off.
No, and it shouldn't be. Oh, this feels uncomfortable. Oh, this is difficult. To reconcile or to acknowledge, I think are the right emotions to have. I think that just saying, I feel uncomfortable, I don't want to deal with it, I want to close this door and carry on, I think is the wrong impulse. Because you really, I mean, my film deals with trauma, and I think to really deal with trauma, you need to look at it really straight on, feel it, and process it. It's a slow process, and there's no quick solutions.
Definitely. Okay. And I guess when we were talking about Jesus and how he's depicted in the short, and some people might get cheesed or whatever, but you have to look at what Jesus, or maybe just the church, represents for certain people. And that's a lot to wrap your mind around when that's what you've been raised to be, right? To realize that, there's some pretty heinous things have gone down in that institution.
Yeah, to me, Christianity isn't. I mean, I would hope the intent of my film is to introduce a different set of ethics, a different set of culture, a different way to be. But deep diving into the subject, Christianity is the basis for colonial institutions. It's how we define things that are good or bad. They're all hierarchical. That you have the boss and 2 people, beneath him. That those are the structures that we think are the go-to structures that we how we function as a society. I mean, one of the questions I hope this film brings is, can we function differently? Equity is built by changing the envelope in which Indigenous people exist, or that we need to understand how these systems could be better, could better serve a true reflection of what Canada is.
Definitely. And, I think people need to also understand, we ultimately live in a secular society. That's I think the only way you can govern in a pluralistic place such as ours. And, how you see things or what works for you may not work over here. So I think, it's not an assault on anyone, it's just, we had to step back from ourselves a little bit more. And I hope people do that with your short. Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciated it. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the project before I let you go?
I hope you like it.
Okay, just enjoy it. Enjoy life.
Enjoy it. Buckle up because it's crazy, and it's a crazy trip.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.